Every year when I'm trying to grow some brassicas like cauliflower, broccoli, and cabbage, I'm always hit with the same problem, and that is cabbage moths. They destroy all of my crops. But this year, I'm gonna be tackling them from a different perspective. I'm always using the cloth, but I also have another trick up my sleeve. Let's go. Okay, here we go. I got some parsnips in there. I've already planted my cauliflowers, my cabbages. Look, I got a little one here. I have another one over there, so they should be protected. But then again, we're only in April, so at least I'm doing a preemptive strike for May when these suckers start coming in. What's going on, my plant peoples? I'm the ADHD gardener, where I use gardening, houseplants, and humor as a form of mental health therapy. And every year it's the battle of the bugs. And if you have been growing some brassicas like broccoli, cauliflower, or cabbage, you already know the deal when it comes to those white moths. And those things are destroyers, okay? Everyone can say, oh my gosh, the white moths are beautiful, blah, 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 blah. I get it. You like them. I don't like them because they eat all my crops. Now, if I'm trying to get a good yield of my brassicas, that does not involve moths, okay? But I know for all the people that are gonna be like, oh my God, you're gonna kill all these moths, possibly. Now, I do be getting some broccoli and cauliflower and all that stuff, but it's not enough because those damn things keep eating them. So I got two ways that I'm gonna tackle it this year. Now, I have been working on this netting. I will get to that. Now, I have had that for a few years already, but I needed something else. Aside from this, I need to stop working against nature and start working with it. Two ways that I'm gonna be tackling this is one, through the netting, and we're gonna be setting that up. The second one is through plants, and that is for the next one, but I'll get to that one later. Now, of course, you don't have to have the insect netting, but then you definitely run a risk of those stupid little moths getting at you and killing all of your plants. To be honest, it depends on the person on how you want to tackle those cabbage moths. You can go straight killing them suckers every time you see them on your plants, or you can do the other nice, peaceful, loving tree hugger way of doing it, which I'm going to tackle on the second one. Every year I do set up the insect netting, but I always had problems with it because one, I was careless, two, I didn't plan ahead, and three, I half-assed it. Now, what I mean by half-assed it is like, it'll be okay like this. That's not the case. I really needed to follow through the entire way through. Now, that is always an ADHD problem when it comes to me or any other ADHD or person, is that fact that we don't follow through. We start a project and then we fall off and we don't complete it all the way through. Not this year. I'm learning because I really need some damn broccoli, okay? I need my cauliflower. I need some cabbage. And the only way I can make that happen is if I do some proper netting. I'm covering 2 rows with this netting. Ideally, you would want to buy a netting that would just cover 1 row by itself, like that one is going to be. That one is just 1 row. I'm going to use that with no problem. I'm trying to cover 2 rows, which is going to be a little bit of an issue when it comes to the bottom because, I don't know. I'm stretching it too far. But then again, I'm being cost effective. I can't exactly afford to keep buying multiple nettings. So that ain't going to happen. Yeah, I know, Freddie. I freaking hear you. Another thing also, you can also put extra PVC in the middle, which I may do, if I have extra PVC on it. So I just have one in the middle and I have one at the end. But what I do have are these little ones. These are just metal. I ordered that off of, I don't remember, some website. I don't remember what website it is, but those are smaller. Let's just say you didn't have such a wide, netting. You have just maybe a little row. You can use these metal wires to kind of, keep the height or, just keep it more structured, like a skeleton almost. So notice how it's dipping there. I need to kind of make it more taut. Like I need to pull it further. But this is where those come into play because look at that. Turns out I wound up putting an extra PVC pipe right over here. I wound up finding an extra piece and using some extra rebar that I had to buy, of course. And I added another one. It is still dipping a little bit, but that's okay. I'm not too worried about it. Of course, this time I had to buy a whole new netting because, again, past mistakes. I have the netting, but what's different about this one is I actually have clamps that I'm going to be using to set up the netting so I don't rip the netting like I did last year and the year before that. And the year before that. Clamps, clips. Those clips are specific to the size of the PVC pipe that I'm using for the netting. These are the clips I'm talking about. Look at that. They work so fantastic. All you do is just clip them on. All you do is just clip them on. That's it. It's windy as heck out here, so a lot of the clips have fallen off. You see here, that has got to be one of the downfalls of having, you know, plastic clips, is because if you have a really windy ass day like today, they can fall off. And that can also leave your plants open and exposed to the elements. Not cool. Another crappy thing is that if someone steps on them, or you have a crazy dog, like over here, Chip, then they can actually break, which is not cool too. But I mean, at least they are cheap enough. I've learned since then through multiple failures. Just because you fail one year does not mean that you just can't get back up, learn from your mistake, and try to implement something new or different the next time. Some people take a little longer, maybe like 3-4 years of just pure failure, but we do not give up, okay? Sometimes we have to learn a little harder than others, but that's okay. If you're doing a whole row of this, then you're gonna cover the entire row. You cannot leave no gaps anywhere, because those moths are sneaky little suckers, and they will get in there from the bottom, from any crack or from any rip. That was a problem that I was having for the multiple other years I was going. I kept having rips and tears in my, in my netting, and they would get in that way. I actually have brick right here because you really gotta cover even the bottom parts of it. You see right here where I can just easily slip through right here? This is a problem because those little moths are sneaky as heck, and they will try to manage their way down this way. You can puncture it if you wanted to and put a stake on here if you know you're not gonna be moving this netting. But I'm always moving and shifting around, so I do not want to do that. So all I gotta do is just grab another brick like I did over there and put it over here. Do you see the wind is rising, and I cannot have that, so I need to weigh that down. I will be getting into here, through here. It is a little low, but I have, a deeper, a few feet. These are raised. So once I get through here, I'm gonna go down a few inches, maybe about like a foot. And then I could just go on my little chair and then just roll it inside of that row. There you go. You're probably asking yourself, why in the world would you be using a plant for a cabbage moth? I mean, don't you want to not have cabbage moth problems and lay their eggs everywhere? That's where the milkweed plant comes into play. The milkweed plant is actually a plant that butterflies and moths and all those little other flying wonderful insects, they love that plant. The milkweed is literally their favorite plant ever. If you have a milkweed plant in your garden somewhere, then chances are those moths, the butterflies that will eventually lead to the larva, then the eggs, and all that whole process, they will do all of that on the milkweed plant. So basically, I'm giving the cabbage moths options as to what to feed on. They're going to be going for the brassicas, or do you want your favorite plant, the milkweed plant? You know you love that way better. So I'm hoping that they fly and choose the milkweed plant over the cabbage moths. I'm not saying that this is going to be 100% effective, but I'm definitely know that it can reduce my chances of those little things dropping all those eggs all over my plants. What I have here is milkweed seedlings. Now I know they're very small right now, but that's okay. I just started. The season has just started. It's all good. But these milkweed plants actually get up to like 6 feet tall. I had no idea. Like they get turned into like this really big bushy ass plant. So I'm not gonna need all of these 4, but maybe I do. Maybe I do want at least 2 of these milkweed plants out here somewhere in the beginning of the garden. So those little cabbage moths will fly to that baby and then feed on that, lay its eggs on that, and just stay away from my plants. Even if it does work 50%, and my netting only works 50%, hey, that gives me 100%. So I'm gonna definitely have a lot more cabbage and cauliflower this year. Cabbage moths, basically mating season, when they start doing the nasty and they start dropping these eggs, that will happen all the way through June. I would even consider maybe parts of July, because you never know. Those moths are here year round. But I'm trying to capitalize on the times where their mating and their laying of the eggs is the most active. So we're talking May, June, and maybe even parts of July, depending on where you live. I'm in zone 6 in Pennsylvania, so that is the pattern that I've been picking up for the past few years with these suckers. Those moths ain't around now, but I bet you money that they're gonna be showing up. And when they show up, they be showing up and destroying everything. So I am preparing. I really hope you enjoyed this video and you got some good information out of it. We are going to try it again, and we're gonna tackle this moth problem. I'm telling you, because this thing is not easy to tackle, but it is possible, especially when we're doing organically. There are always ways of getting around using, other means like chemicals or pesticides or anything like that. If you did enjoy this video and you want to show me some love, then don't forget to smash that like button. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, then consider subscribing. I drop a video twice a week, one short and one long. Also, you can catch me on Facebook and Instagram. I'm on there all the time. You can drop me a message, we can chit chat, and we can also laugh because I love some memes. And until the next episode, you guys, where you and me both are going to be growing our happiness one plant at a time, one day at a time, I'll check you out in the next episode. Peace and love.